The new Mortal Kombat trailer just dropped and it had everything. Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Jax, Sonya Blade, Raiden, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage. Wait. What the? What do you mean Johnny Cage isn't in this movie? Who else did they cut? Oh, what were they thinking, cutting Johnny out of a Mortal Kombat movie? I mean, they got all the OG characters, including Reptile, but they cut out Johnny?
Johnny Cage dies? Is someone high?
Is it even Mortal Kombat if Johnny doesn't do the splits and punch someone between their legs? That's a trick question because of course it isn't. To be honest, I think he has to be in it in some way. The action movie star turned fighter for Earthrealm has been a mainstay of the series since the beginning. Surely there'll at least be a movie poster or a screen in the background playing one of Cage's films. I mean, even Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge had Cage played by Joel McHale. Surely they're just punking us, right? Well, I guess it is possible that the mysterious new character Cole Young could eventually take the screen name Johnny Cage, but that seems unlikely. I think he may end up being Sub-Zero's son or have some relation to Shao Kahn. If they had room to introduce an entirely new character to the franchise, they better have included Johnny somehow. Is it too much to hope that they're hiding a Ryan Reynolds cameo as Johnny? Tell me it wouldn't be perfect.
Well, we don't have that kind of money.
Okay, so this one features a lot of personal bias. I have always loved the fighter Noob Saibot. I used to absolutely wreck people using his brutal teleportation attacks. He would make for a wicked adversary in the Mortal Kombat movie, even if they only needed him to fill some time. Imagine that Nightcrawler sequence from X2, but a full R-rated version. That is the kind of carnage this movie needs. In fact, if we see Scorpion truly take out the original Sub-Zero so that Cole Young can become the second Sub-Zero, it would be the perfect way to introduce Saibot. You see, for those that don't know the lore, Noob Saibot is actually the Sub-Zero from the first game made into a Wraith. Seeing as Joe Taslim is officially playing the Bai-Han version of Sub-Zero, it seems like all of my Noob Saibot dreams have a pretty good chance of coming true. Unfortunately, I don't think the fatality where you get to disembowel someone and then send your shadow into their guts to rip them open from the inside will make it into the final movie. We can't even show that on YouTube, so instead, here's a clip from MH Animations showing Noob fighting in Minecraft form. Violence is so much more wholesome when it's pixelated and cute. For those who watched the original Mortal Kombat movie, you might remember that Kitana was a pretty important character. For those who just watched the original and never played the games, however, you might not know that she's also a pretty impressive fighter. I mean, seriously, they didn't even give her fan blades in the movie. That's like the whole point of having Kitana. There are a ton of actresses who could play Kitana too. Personally, I think the Boys actress Karen Fukuhara would be perfect for a Mortal Kombat film. We already know that she can convincingly beat people up and handle Kitana's dramatic backstory. She is the stepdaughter of the evil Shao Kahn and the real daughter of Sindel, one of Mortal Kombat's recurring villains. The relationship between Sindel and Kitana, her romantic past with Liu Kang, and her friendship with bodyguard/assassin Jade made for quite a bit of drama. It's kind of surprising the film isn't using it. Not to mention the fact that she is one of Mileena's principal rivals, seeing as she's a clone of Kitana. I mean, Mileena is in the movie, so it would be kind of weird if Kitana wasn't at least mentioned. Though, I'm pretty sure the movie's gonna be like 2% plot and like 98% punching. I mean, that's probably the way a Mortal Kombat movie should go. Mortal Kombat is just as well known for its hideous monsters as it is for colorful ninjas who rip out each other's spinal cords. Now, we've already seen that Goro and Reptile are in the film, so it would only make sense to feature old knife arms in it as well. Baraka is a Tarkatan, one of the main races of Outworld which Shao Kahn rules over. Now, you know them from the pretty monster smiles like the one Mileena sports in the trailer. There's a reason why Mileena wore a face mask long before anyone else did, and it wasn't for her health. Exploring the Tarkatans like Baraka, the Shokans like Goro, and the Centurions like Motaro, they could build out the world to give them more story to work with in potential sequels. It would be interesting to see these species fleshed out on the big screen. Really though, all you need to know about Baraka is that giant knives poke out of his arms and he stabs people with them. He's a simple guy with simple, stabby tastes. There are few characters after the original trilogy that have made quite the impression that Kenshi has. The Blind Assassin was introduced in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and has been a mainstay of the series ever since. It's not hard to see why, as he basically looks like you put Daredevil and Solid Snake into a blender and then gave him a samurai sword. I mean, that alone should be enough to give him a big screen appearance. Did the makers of Mortal Kombat miss Donnie Yen stealing scenes in Rogue One as a lovable, blind warrior? Now, if that wasn't enough for you, Kenshi has a special grudge against the villain Shang Tsung, which could make for some brutal sequences. Imagine if Shang Tsung got beaten by one of the other heroes, only to seemingly escape. Then he turns around to see Kenshi waiting for him with a spinning blade ready to cut him up like a meat grinder. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that he has psychic powers and can move his sword with his mind? You know, actually, don't put him in Mortal Kombat. Get this man his own spin-off. Well, at least we'll always have Mortal Kombat Legacy, Kenshi. They knew that you were awesome. Ermac is another character that I low-key think will be in the new movie. I mean, he's a famous, sort of member of the original cast who only appeared in the original game due to a glitch legend that circulated about Scorpion turning into a red ninja. Seriously, his name was literally Error Macro. The team behind Mortal Kombat decided to just roll with it, and Ermac, the Monster of Souls, was born. This guy is a classic Mortal Kombat villain who has brutal psychic powers that make him a uniquely formidable fighter. He's also the guy who shattered Jax's arms, but it looks like Sub-Zero is taking that honor for the new film. This continues the long and proud tradition of retconning how and why Jax got his metal appendages. Still, the Ermac version is my favorite, even if Sub-Zero shattering them in the movie looks freaking awesome. He's a complicated character who's made up of hundreds of lost souls in Outworld. This means that he's like a patchwork man made of the dead. This has a lot of potential to show Ermac as a confused and even possibly insane fighter from being a literal mixture of hundreds of people. This is a fighting game franchise, so they don't really do much of that. Notably, he was also once freed from Shao Kahn's control by my boy Kenshi. So, if he's not in the Mortal Kombat movie, he could always be in my Kenshi standalone film. You know how to find me, HBO Max. The screenplay's already in motion. While Mortal Kombat has plenty of monsters, ninjas, super cops, martial artists, and movie stars to round out its roster, it also has no shortage of robotic characters. Sure, Jax and Kano both have some cybernetics that allow them to take on supernaturally gifted fighters who have been resurrected with dark magic. Neither have the cybernetic street cred that characters like Cyrax, Smoke, and Sector do. That's right, the Mortal Kombat film could feature its own Iron Man-style fighters. The main difference is that these characters are actually cyborg ninjas created by Sub-Zero's Lin Kuei ninja clan. This was an effort to create more powerful, emotionless assassins, you know, because a character who's so warm that he goes by the name Sub-Zero is way too emotional. This could lead to some excellent storytelling, as these cyborg ninjas don't exactly love being cyborg ninjas. A little body horror could really make this Mortal Kombat adaptation pop. Adaptation is one thing, but what can this film franchise actually do to enhance the games it's based on? Taking some time to showcase a few of the horrifying implications behind the lives of these mortal combatants would be a great way to recontextualize the games and make them even grittier. If Mortal Kombat really wants to build a franchise, the first step is to build a universe. One of the best ways to do this is to drop hints or references to the wider lore of the games. An interesting character they could throw a reference to is Kotal Kahn, the would-be Mayan god of war. What makes Kotal Kahn an interesting character to explore is how he bounces off characters like Raiden and Shao Kahn. While the franchise has changed character motivations and backstories over the years, by broad strokes, the series is about good versus evil. The good warriors of Earthrealm defending themselves against the evil forces of Outworld. Kotal Kahn represents something else entirely. While he is hardly a paragon for freedom and justice, he has a much greater sense of honor than Shao Kahn does. Not that it's hard. Kotal's inclusion into the series could help build out some of the gray areas between good and evil. His philosophy would also enhance the perspectives of both Raiden and Shao Kahn, as we'd have a grayer character to compare them both against. Aside from that, he's also a brutal warrior who could Thanos his way through several different fighters at a time. When building a franchise, it never hurts to hold a potential Thanos in your back pocket. The original Mortal Kombat was known for showing off fresh, original characters with vibrant new designs. The sequels, however, became plagued with characters with interesting moves, but who were basically just reskinned or recolored designs of other established fighters. Seriously, like a good third of the fighters could be accurately described as a different color version of Scorpion. This has definitely changed over the years as the newbies have become increasingly unique. One of the most striking of these is Erron Black, a cowboy mercenary who was born in Earthrealm but works in Outworld. While the film probably wouldn't have enough time to really dig into Erron Black, his appearance in the film could give it a lot of flavor. If our heroes find themselves in Outworld, Black could act as something of a guide, only to be revealed as a traitor loyal to Kahn. If nothing else, Erron Black could be used as a glorified extra to be used in a future film. I mean, what are the chances that Kano actually makes it out of this movie alive? 0! Erron Black would be the perfect character to take on that human merc working for the enemy shtick that Kano fits so well. Now, one of the craziest gimmicks Mortal Kombat has been employing over the last few years has been to throw big-time movie characters in as fighters. These include characters like Rambo, the Terminator, RoboCop, the Predator, and Jason Voorhees. While it would be a hard thing to pull off, it would be incredible if each film in the Mortal Kombat series could do the same. A moment where Scorpion is hunted by the Predator, Sub-Zero fights the Terminator, or Sonya Blade serves as the last girl Jason Voorhees would ever want to mess with. That would be fantastic! These scene-stealing sequences could really pump up the Mortal Kombat films, and if they were kept secret, more fans would go just to see which guest star would be ripped apart by the combatants. Most notably, it could actually lead to a Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe movie adaptation. Whoa, was I the only one who liked that game? Come on, Snyderverse characters are basically Mortal Kombat characters already. Batman could brand Kano and send him to Arkham. At the very least, let's hope Mortal Kombat creates its own visual style that will lead to films for years to come. The fact that it is very much R-rated definitely doesn't hurt. No matter what you do, Mortal Kombat, no matter what character you cut, at least you won't be as bad as Annihilation. Nothing could be as bad as Annihilation.